hey. I didn't see you there. First, I want to say thank you all so much for listening. First, I want to say thank you guys so much for listening. Like, it actually means a lot to me. I put so much time and effort into these songs, and to actually see them get plays and get likes and all that means so much. So, yeah, thank you guys. Keep supporting. I'm going to be dropping new stuff soon, so stay tuned for that. I'm not going to tell you what it is, obviously, because I need to, do my marketing thing. So, I did say I was going to make a breakdown for Fall With Me, but, stuff happened. But I'm doing it for this one, and I think the song is much better, so yeah, let's get to it. Oh, by the way, the headphones I use are the Audio-Technica ATH M50X. Made that name. Yeah, they are kind of falling apart.
What the fuck?
Alright, so here we go. We are in the project right now. First, I think a good thing is to sort of talk about the inspiration for the song. It's actually kind of a weird one, not gonna lie. So in 2021, I went to Vegas, and I got inspired by looking out my hotel room. I know, it's kind of strange, but so I sort of wanted to make a song that encapsulates this feeling of that you're above everybody else, at the top floor. You're higher than the entire city, and that you're a king ruling over everybody. So yeah, first, the key we're in is E minor, and the tempo is 128 BPM, pretty standard stuff for house. I think we should go for the actual influences, the songs that inspired me. So we have Higher by Tobu, which you can kind of already hear, and also the video background that I use is from Tobu, so it's actually from this song, Higher. And people were pointing that out, and I'm like, yeah, the song was inspired by it, so that's kind of why I use it. And it's also a cool pick, so yeah, here we go. Once we get into the song, you'll actually hear how they sound like. Yeah, it's a classic. Now we have Save Me Now by Matthew Blake. Why is it so quiet? Yeah, we have 10 More Minutes by Chenda or whatever the hell. Yeah, Chenda and Shia Maisel. The drop isn't what's inspired from here, but sort of the chords towards the start. So actually no, I think it's the chord progression that mine is identical to this.
All I need is 10 more minutes with you. Let me give it a one last shot. Will I ever get through to you? Oh, am I wasting my time? Should I leave for the night? It's unclear at the moment.
And the last one, hopefully I don't get copyright strike for this. All four of these songs are actually in the same key as mine too. I might be a musical genius. Wait. You know that Korn song where it's it's corn! A big lump of knobs, it has the juice. Can't imagine a more beautiful thing. I feel like it's in the same key. It's also in E minor. It's corn! A big lump of knobs, it has the juice. I can't imagine a more beautiful thing. It's corn! I can tell you all about it. I mean, look at this thing! When I had it with butter, everything changed. So, yeah, I think without further ado, we should jump into it. So the structure, we have the intro, verse, build up, drop, a short bridge, back to the verse, a longer build up, and a drop with the extended drop, and the outro, which makes a song 2 minutes 56 seconds long. So it's the second, maybe it's the shortest, wait no. I had one called Pandemic or some shit that's shorter. So yeah, the song has 111 tracks. Of course they aren't playing all at once, but yeah, there's quite a lot. So the whole song is pretty much built around this guitar riff that I found off Splice. So that's sort of the hook, and the melody that comes in during the build-up and later on is pretty much this but slightly changed. So yeah, at the start we have some effects. So dreamy. Sorry, I can't hear the song over the sound of my muscles, my bad. So yeah, we also have the guitar. We have a choir. We have anal wanker chords. I mean, Alan Walker. Fuck. We have the same thing but in mono, so I split it to make the lower part. The lower frequency is mono, as we can see here. Yes, that's the bass region is mono. Then everything from 250 up is stereo.
Oh, we feeling so high. Jesus, just get a falling, but you might just fly. Cause we be on a top up. Oh, we feeling so high. Don't be afraid of falling, cause you know we gon' fly.
The first chord is E minor, then to D major, then it goes up to G major, and then down to C major. And then it goes back up to E minor, then to D major again, then down to C major, and then last is B minor. So yeah, that's the chord progression pretty much throughout the whole thing. We have just some more atmospheric things that come in. We have, of course, like a big impact, downlifter, more ambience. Then the vocals.
Top floor, oh, we feeling so high. Jesus, just get a falling, but you might just fly. Cause we be on the top floor.
Got these from Splice too.
Don't be afraid of falling.
Yeah, they're also on JPB's song, his Top Floor. So yeah, I mean, like, ours kind of have similar vibes. Actually, no, they're pretty different. So yeah, pretty much what we did with the vocals is I routed 2 buses. We have a reverb bus, which has this big reverb, which actually sidechained to itself. So what that does is that when the vocal is actually singing, the reverb level goes down, and once the singing stops, it goes back up. So we can... It's not as strong here. You can sort of see how there's like a little bit of gain. Same thing with the delay too.
Top floor, oh, we feeling so high. Jesus, just get a falling, but you might just fly.
Why don't I hear it?
Cause we be on the top floor, oh, we feeling so high.
I don't know why the delay is not working, but yeah, you sort of get the gist of it. We have that choir back. Yeah, you can see the chords better here. Classical male ensemble. Pretty much just cut the lows, made it very like airy and breathy. We have the anal wanker. And here what I did is I automated the filter here, so we can see that the filter goes up, or the cutoff goes up, which sort of gives it that sort of sound with like a longer sustain and sort of brighter. The same thing happens here too. Then it goes back down. And then we have the piano. My signature piano, I mean. It isn't a Gabe song without it. So yeah, just cut a lot of the lows to sort of get rid of the mud. Put a bit of distortion on it to make it thick. Some OTT. And a compressor. So it's like, all the stuff here is very highly compressed. We have some pads underneath too. Then we have our basses, our respace, mono and stereo. And I also put a little snap in here. So yeah, now to the build-up. Here's where it gets interesting. Oh, I have a little come on vocal right here. That's where the chords come in. So we have a standard saw. Got a shit ton of stuff going on here. We got EQ, fucking OTT, saturation, distortion, more EQ, more compression, reverb. So yeah, we also have trumpets too. So what I did here is little something called the Haas effect. Best F1 team. Now they gotta fix their fucking car. It's like god awful. So yeah, what this does is sort of splits the signals. So this is in mono, right? So I duplicate the track, add a delay, and make a bit of a time delay. So what this does is that sort of widens the sound. You have to be careful with this because like you need to make sure that it also sounds good in mono. Because if it sounds good in stereo and weird in mono, your mix isn't going to sound as good on like festival speakers. So this is stereo. A bit of phasing, but not bad. We have, yeah, reverb just kind of fixes that. We also have the melody that I was talking about earlier. Just use a simple ARP for that. Yeah, we have the piano again. Much higher this time. And it sort of made it very like stabby, like a machine gun kind of. So also here we get the bass, which is used in the drop. Just a simple saw bass really. And a ton of ambience here. Then we have the riser. Then we have leads that come in right at the build-up, playing that same melody. So yeah, what we got here is a simple like generic saw lead, a bit of detune, not too much though, so it doesn't sound like shit from 2014. String staccato, trumpet staccato, all that good stuff. We have a snare that comes in at the build-up. Yeah, I'm just gonna go and play through the audio of each of this stuff for the build-up, or from the verse. So beautiful. Just like me.
Come on.
So yeah, we can hear these little blips or bleeps or whatever, which are used throughout the drop. It's sort of like that electro house kind of sound. Let's take a listen to these. And that ARP volume comes down when these leads come in down here. So yeah, what we did here is, what I did here, why am I saying we? What the fuck did you guys do? It's a low cut here that rises, so we can see that's at 200 hertz. And then it sweeps up. And then it goes back down, completely gets rid of the reverb. So there's none of that sound. That's not... Oh, I just lowered the volume. But yeah, sort of this effect of like taking away the lows as you're building up also adds to making the bass seem like much heavier in the drop. So maybe you haven't noticed, but there isn't any sub bass here. Like I only really use sub bass in the drop. I mean, not always, but usually. We also have this 3, 2, 1, go.
3, 2, 1, let's go.
Falling
So yeah, this is the drop. Shit. Oh, we feeling so high. He said he's gonna fall, just fly. And we on top floor. Oh, we feeling so high. I just sing on my songs. Alright, this is sort of what the EQ and all that stuff, or the master EQ looks like for the drop. The stereo width, EQ, and this is Aggie. Yeah, for the effects in the drop, we have a whole lot more going on. We have this beautiful ambience up here. We have sort of this thing, this eye. We have a downlifter. Crowd cheering stuff. But the interesting stuff is actually these blips. All these sounds are sort of pre-made samples, except we have this gritty bass.
I say right foot, 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 I say.
I just found this sample on Vital. I didn't make it. I sort of changed it up a bit, but yeah, it's what it sounds like. It's a dubstep bass. I tried making dubstep in like February of 2021. We also have this lead right here, just a square. And I sort of made a pitch bend right here. The vocals come back, nothing exciting. Now to the more interesting stuff. We have these chords. So you sort of make the sound, like the drop sound more natural. Like if you take these away, it sounds way too like electronic. Like you need some of that natural sound. Yeah, you can really hear that difference. So what this has is a violin, the piano. These are what the drop chords look like. So it's the same chord progression as before. Except it isn't that duh 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 duh, you know. We have the choir back. Ho ho. We have trumpets right here. An accordion. I don't know when I added this in, but we have sax. And down here we have the saws. Of course you want it to sound like electro, but since this doesn't really have much high end, you can sort of look at the main EQ here. You can sort of see that roll off. What these saws do is just add a lot of that brightness in. So it's pretty simple, just, you know, basic saws. I mean, they aren't the same. They each have like different detune kinda. Now for the bass, we have Grit That Shit, really gritty bass. Bass thick, and the sub bass underneath it all. Now for the drums. So you might sort of notice how this sounds much heavier to my other songs. Like if you listen to Fall With Me or my This Time remix, like it doesn't really sound that heavy. And it's not because I use different sounds here. These are all sounds that I'd usually use. I used a different kick and snare, so the kick I used here is much heavier. Much clickier too. We also have a much more aggressive snare. I actually stack snares, so we have this one, and a clap. We also have a cymbal here, and some hi-hats, so the whole drums sound like this. It's actually a really simple drum line. My signature double snare thing. So yeah, those are the drums. The chords do change a bit here. They sort of cut off early, so this gritty thing can sort of play longer. So it's sort of like call and response between these blips and the chords. So it's when the chords are playing, these don't play, but when these play, the chords aren't playing. So we can sort of hear that here. And it sort of ends with a lowering low pass, high pass. What the fuck? Yeah, low pass filter. I of course also use ozone imager on everything to sort of make everything sound perfectly stereo. Not everything, but usually like with chords and stuff you want the width to be like the same that way versus that way. Sort of tough to explain, we can see here. Yeah, so like you wouldn't want something like this or something like that. Wait. You want to sort of balance so it sounds good in stereo and mono. So the actual drop itself, like if you take away all these blips and whatever, it's pretty simple. And everything here is like heavily sidechained. I forgot to talk about that. I'm not very good at these, but you can sort of see the sidechain here. Very heavy. Usually I'd have it at 30 or 25 or something, but since it's like electro house and I really want that pumping, plus the super aggressive kick, that makes it better. So what sidechain does, I'll just make a different tutorial about that, but without the sidechain, you can't dance to it, but with it, so yeah, all this stuff is heavily sidechained. Not all the way, but pretty far down. Here we have C, yeah, it's a negative 40 decibels. I believe these are negative 30. Oh, also negative 40. Bass and sub bass I know is all the way down, since you don't want any of those frequencies between the kick, the sub, and the bass clashing. So yeah, now to the bridge. Pretty much the same thing as the intro, honestly. I think it's like exactly the same.
Only feeling so high. Jesus just get it falling, but you might just fly. Cause when we gonna top up, only feeling so high. Don't be afraid of falling, cause you know we gon' fly.
But here is where stuff gets interesting. So we have the verse from earlier, but instead of having the snaps, I actually play the drums here. Of course I chopped it up a bit to make it not perfectly on tempo, but there were some things that were a bit too off. But you of course want to be a bit off so it has that like natural sound, you know? Yeah, it's just mixing, filters, EQ, compression. It's pretty much everything. Also like distortion, of course. I have distortion on all of this stuff right here. Then we go to the pre-buildup. Same thing as the last, but with a clap here. Now to the extended buildup. Are you ready for that? We have the snare, which I put into a sampler. The reason why is because the pitch changes. We also have the overused trap snare. Everything else is pretty much the same. Of course, this riser also goes on for longer. I also have the sub-bass riser, so you can sort of hear that picks up from the low frequencies and then goes up. Here we can see that better. Then we have a little woo here. And then the hey, which you hear in like everything. So this drop, everything is the same except we added two things. So we added the guitar from before. This time with an amp to like, just to fatten it up a bit. So yeah, we also have the, God, why am I saying we? You guys don't do fucking anything. Shit. Where'd my mouse go? Sort of the siren kind of sounding thing. This loop I found. And then the volume goes down, so it sort of fades out. Same thing with the vocals coming back in. Here, we have this hey in, we have this riser towards the end. Yeah, we sort of have little phrases coming. This is all the same. We have the leads from before, so remember those leads from the build-up? They're also here. Also with the leads, that means that the vocals go out, except for these little phrases, and the guitar also goes out. So that's what it sounds like. I feel like this is like a good way to kind of like bring it all home, you know, since it has a melody from before. It just works. This famous riser. And the end, we have a transition, a sweeper transition. We have that, this atmosphere, this impact down here. We have these chords from before. Sort of like the same exact stuff from the intro, except the filter cutoff this time is going down. Oh, the filter goes down and back up. There's no filter, but there's like huge reverb at the end. I think the filter I put is on the effects. So yeah, we can hear that here. It goes down. But then I sort of made it go back up because I don't know, it just sort of sounded interesting, I guess. So yeah, all that sounds like this. Ends with an impact. And yeah, that's it. Glad I could share this with you guys. I hope you guys really enjoyed it. I really had a fun time making this song. It took like a month of actually making it. I made it back in like January, February 2022. I really love this song. I think so far it's the best song that I actually released. So yeah, this is my first time making electro house, which is different since I usually make progressive house. Like, it was super fun to make. It was super fun to sort of make everything sound much more like mean and aggressive and sort of add these dubstep sounds in. So I'm definitely going to do this stuff again. Like, it definitely sounded really good, like especially for my first time. So yeah, next time I do this, like, I'm sure it's going to sound much better. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this breakdown, and thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.